The win, it goes the way of FlyQuest after a 13-10 win on Sunset, and it kind of went as we expected, though it was the last couple rounds wide that made the difference round after round, and Vance was highlighting it a little bit after that pause that was called by Jovi. It seems like that is what allowed FlyQuest to push it to the finish line and be able to get this win too.
Yeah, definitely. You really can't understate how much impact that he's got on this team as a coach. It was looking so good for Refrag. Genuinely impressed that they were able to make this map so close as well. A map that they have been pretty bad at this year, frankly. I mean, they were 5-8 going into this match here on Sunset on the map, but they really stood up to the test. I really thought we were headed to map 3, so a lot of credit to them for making it that close, and obviously credit to FlyQuest for being able to best a strong opponent here.
Yeah, absolutely. And to speak about that record a little bit more, those are the types of things that hang over you when you come into a match as important as this for you, right? This one means a lot to get ever closer to make it into the grand finals and potentially winning an event like this one. You need it so much if you want that international at the end of the year. So this is huge. Unfortunately for Refrag, it's going to take a lower bracket run now for them. And in terms of this game too, they were in control, so this one's definitely going to be a little painful here then.
Yeah, now we've gotten the chance to see a couple of these teams, and it looks pretty good actually for Reform and their the potential lower bracket run. It was for FlyQuest, it was the details towards the end, especially 6 rounds in a row that they got to close that out. There's only so many times where this kind of scenario happens where you're able to make a comeback in the last couple of rounds happen. And FlyQuest, of course, with the experienced players that were in that LAN last year, and the mixed players that maybe haven't gotten the chance to do it just yet, like Dodo, they're about to make it happen. And this is the expectation that we had for this team, to be able to solve it, to be able to adapt on the fly, Wyatt, and to solve all those problems as they come by, because Refrag didn't really make it easy for them at all.
No, not at all. A strong, very strong Refrag team. Yesterday, dodonut really didn't have to do much at all in that dominating win that they got. Today, though, dodonut decided to just put the team on her back. She went crazy. And Ev as well played very well on the fade here. Really a crucial utility at times. Some important little 2Ks that were coming up from them as well. So credit to the new addition, filling in for Lace, filling in really nicely today. We were wondering how they would do as the tournament progressed, as the pressure increases and the quality of the opponents increases too. And today, definitely standing up to the task.
I also just want to, I mean, while we're looking at the stat from Dodo, and as we remember some of the rounds from the game that we just saw, can we talk about this Raze movement for a bit? Because she is flying. She is doing so well on so many levels with the utility that she's using, and you know, the counter plays that she's actually pulling out too. We saw on Bind dodging a rocket here through the window. Yeah. Like, what are we talking about right now? This is another level, right? And that's what you need. That's what you need when you're going to basically go up against the best player that Game Changers has ever seen in floor. Right? If that's the type of level that you need to take down, I think we just saw definitely a comparison. Somebody who could be their equal.
These stats are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, she ended up plus 27 for the whole series. And you can just see she got 33 on the first map and 27 on the second map. It's a dream come true, Wyatt, for anybody looking for a duelist, anybody looking for a reason where Dodo got you.
It's just insane. 60 for 33 over the series. When you get Dodonut on the Raze, it's just over. If you're playing Bind and Sunset, GG.
Yeah, she's just constantly good. We talk about her all the time on the Raze, and we see why. There's a lot of good individual, good mechanics in Game Changers, but when you see somebody having the Raze mechanics nailed down the way that she has it, it's amazing. So we're talking about Dodo. Let's go and talk to her directly. Let's jump into the Verizon post-match interview with Dodo. And Dodo, all good. No, I get it. You won. You deserve to get that food. But congratulations on this win, though. First of all, I want to ask you about the preparation, because you are one of the best teams that we've had in Game Changers. You made it to the grand finals on the first series and the second series. So what is the preparation like for this last part of the year, trying to make it to that international in Berlin?
So after we won the first qualifier, we had like a lot of time to prep for like the future tournament. So we are very grateful that we have that much time to prep and everything. And this morning, our coaches had a lot of like stuff prep, and they were like going over it with us. So big props to them.
Yeah, it seems like the support that you guys are getting, it's always there, and it's showing the difference when you're going into these maps. And speaking a little bit on that, when you're going into these maps, as we saw, Reform, they changed their composition of bind. They changed it for last match, and they changed it from before. So how do you adapt on the fly, and how do you prepare for this, knowing that it is a possibility that any team in Game Changers can change the composition in a match like this one?
Honestly, we like every team has scrims a lot, and we scrim like many different comps, so we know what adaptation and what each agent can do. So we're like very aware of like what each agent has the potential to do.
And I want to know a little bit more about you, because we always talk about Dodo on the race. She's insane. How is she doing this? You were insane today. I mean, insane, I feel like it's an understatement because of how consistently good you are. But I want to know, when it comes to these kind of slightly different ideas on the race, or the rest of your team kind of setting you up for success, what is the planning before? Is the coaching staff involved in this? Are some of them your ideas and you kind of calling what you want to do in these rounds?
We have like set plays, but most of the rounds, like when we're just like mid round, it's just up to the players to like call for util and like how we're gonna scale. So it's really all up to the players.
And towards the end on Sunset, you guys were losing by a few rounds, and you make that comeback. You win 6 rounds in a row. So what happens to make that comeback and to make it winnable?
I think we were down like 7-10, I think, but we didn't really like let that get to us, because we just treat it like a scrim, and like, oh, it doesn't end at 13, so we can just keep going, playing the same game that we always play. So as long as our mentor is up, yeah, we can do it.
Yeah. And my last question for you is, the next match is the upper final, and is going to be either YFP or Shopify. There's definitely a favorite on that matchup. Of how are you feeling about facing either of them, and how do you see them? I mean, we always talk about Shopify being the favorite, but YFP has also been looking really good. So what are your personal thoughts on them?
We played YFP like a couple of times. The last time we played them, it was in the Neon Dreams. They did really well, and yeah, they took over 2-1. Yeah, I think YFP is a very strong team. They have very solid players, and SR, you know, they're the goats. They have always been the goats, but we're not like nervous or anything, because we just treat every team the same, and we just play our own game.
Yeah, I feel like no matter who ends up winning that matchup is going to be a good one, especially with the way that your team has been looking. So once again, congratulations on your win, dodonut. This is everything that we have for the post-match interview, and this is everything that we have for this series, but we have more action. After this break, we're going to go into MESO's Millionaires going against Teddy Tactics.
Red Bull gives you wings.
And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good, good, good. I just feel so good, good. I just feel so good.
My name is Kennedy. My in-game name is Venus, and I'm the primary duelist player for Teddy Tactics.
I don't play the game. Come on.
Well, fair enough. I'm Arya. I'm the IGL, and now I'm back on Smokes. But yeah, they were the first team I ever trialed with, and I've been here ever since. So yeah, I'm this guy's sister. Basically, I brought Ender on because we just really needed some bot review. We were chronic overheaters. And so I was like, well, Christy's kind of smart, and people will probably listen more than they listen to me. So yeah.
Yeah, so basically nepotism.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I was while I was in Berlin for the first GCC, I was just watching them play in like the first tournament that Arya played in, I think.
Yeah.
And then about like halfway through 2023, while I was actually living in Europe, I started doing some like VOD review notes for the team, and then just started like coaching pretty quickly for a few tournaments. Honestly, it's really fun. You know, I do a little bit more screaming than when I'm casting, and I hit a few more tables than normal. But I don't know. I'm a competitor at heart, and I haven't done that since I was like a semi-pro in League of Legends, which was like ages ago. But like as soon as I coached the first tournament, it was like calling a timeout. I'm like, oh, they actually did what I said in the timeout. They don't always do what I say in the timeout. But when they did, it was like, oh, that's actually like really sick. Like learning how to do all of those small things that I sort of took for granted watching the game played for so many years. Just again, changed my perspective.
It's like a prolific saying in like Teddy Tactics that I just have no preference on what I play. But if I had to say, my favorite characters would probably be like Neon and Raze.
You begged us to play Jet!
True.
See, okay, so now we have this thing at Teddy Tactics where if I like perform well on any agent, Christy and Arya go insane and just try to put me on that agent on every map. I had like 2 or 3 Neon maps at one point because I just like was frying on Neon for like a month or so. So a lot of the time it kind of is just like comfort for our comps, but like for me personally, I have no preference, but if I had to say, it's Neon and Raze for sure. So me, I like always wear long sleeves. I just got a new jacket, so I'm honestly probably gonna wear this when we play. But I always wear a long sleeve, but I roll up both sleeves, so I don't have sleeves. But it needs to be a long sleeve and not a short sleeve at all points in time. Like, I just need to wear long sleeves. Even if I'm not using the sleeves, I just need to wear long sleeves.
Yeah, no, it's actually, I am the complete opposite. Pretty much every tourney day, I'm sleeveless. I hate sleeves. They're the worst. But for me, game days, anytime I can, if either the tourney starts late enough or if I can wake up early enough, I play so much better when I've been in the gym, especially arm days. I just aim different on arm days. So anytime it's possible, I will get in the gym before tourney, and then come home, have a protein shake, and then start warming up. And that's like my ideal tourney, like, warm-up routine.
So me personally, I stay away from the gym because that's cringe. I don't think I don't watch that much TV. If I'm watching TV, it's usually with other people. I prefer watching movies usually. But I will say, like, some hit anime. Those are the best. Attack on Titan, Code Geass, Nana, and Higurashi are my goated anime.
Well, I just finished watching Game of Thrones for the first time because I had never seen it, and then Christy made me watch it. The last season is something.
Yeah. He loved it.
As for me, like, Evangelion's a big one for me. Evangelion, just rewatched Naruto. Yeah, that's like kind of it. Monica Magica, really good. Movie trailer came out like recently. I'm super excited for that. Yeah, that's like it for me. I kind of just want to go to LAN. I think going to LAN would be insane. Like, going from laptop player to playing on LAN would be so insane in my head. But if I had to choose anywhere, honestly, like, any LAN on like the East Coast would be insane. because just going back would be really nice.
I'm jumping in first because it would absolutely be
Japan.
no.
You're not saying Japan?
No, I want to go.
Oh.
I want to go to GCC because it's in the LEC studio, and I cast there for like 5 years. So getting to compete on LAN in the LEC studio would actually be so sick for me personally.
Yeah, I don't really care where we go. I'm just down for a LAN, and I'm down to win it.
Yeah, I just want to say that Take Tactics were the luckiest team in GC. Last stage, we played against Passion Project and FlyQuest Red. So really lucky seeding on that one. And this time, that was when we were 8th seed. Now we got 6th seed, and we have the chance to play against only the 3rd best team in North American Game Changer, Shopify Rebellion. So I don't know. I just really hope that they come out and have a good time because they're gonna have to put in their work when they go lower bracket.
Always nice to hear from some of the members of Teddy Tactics as we get ready for the second match of today. And it's going to be Teddy Tactics taking down MESO's Millionaires. And the vibes are good, but something that we need to address for sure is that this is a lower bracket run that they're trying to make. And losing today means elimination, Bala. So Teddy Tactics, I feel like they're one of the teams that the community loves to see. But can they win the match today against MESO's Millionaires, though?
Yeah, and you know, Ender's being a little tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, it's funny to see Ender on a video there, as he's our coworker most of the time. But yeah, just really funny situation. They haven't won a match here. They haven't won a map, so it's something that they have as a goal probably, and I think they finally have a chance here. My fire alarm's going off.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, it's just no. We're good.
good, bro?
We're good.
Okay. I was like, is that me?
Yeah, I started looking around. I'm like,
We're cooking chicken
did my
upstairs.
cat start cooking?
We're cooking
Like,
we're roasting some chicken. I go upstairs to check on things, and we're making the sauce up on the pan. And I'm like, dude, there's a lot of smoke. So I set up the fan and everything, and I was like, all right, good. It's not gonna go off in the middle of the interview.
Yeah,
But
no,
it goes
I mean,
on, all right, whatever, it's cool. Hey, I'm a rookie at this. Okay, I haven't done this many times.
yeah. No. You started hitting some points. The fire alarm is going off. I mean, it's fine. It's just like very, very normal to you. But anyways, let's keep forward. Let's move forward with the conversation now. Wyatt, we mentioned that this is a lower bracket. We talked a little bit about Teddy Tactics and we know the coach and they're very well. We would say we're kind of close.
I'm rooting for Ender. I'm biased. I want them to win. Why? Because that means it's possible he'll lose one of his broadcast days. I could take it and get more money. So yeah, I hope Ender does win today. I'm a big Teddy Tactics fan. What? I'm being honest.
Do you guys think this is a joke? It's not.
It's not.
It's
Not kidding.
This is very real.
I'm kidding you guys.
Number one
I swear.
topic conversed with Wyatt. I got another show. I got another day. Let's go.
Let's go. I mean, Teddy Tactics. Hey, they've been around. I think the players mentioned it a little bit. They've been around for some time. For now, a couple years. Grinding the game, trying to make it far. Just last Game Changers, this is the first time that we got to see them making it to the main event. Now they make it to the main event, Bala, once again. And the question is, how far can they take this?
Yeah, Ender was joking around about being lucky. Obviously, they got very unlucky in the first main event, and they kind of got unlucky here too, going up against Shopify in the first match. But this is where the tables turn, hopefully. And this is what you kind of have to go through when you're an upstart team like this. You have to go through the lower seedings where you're facing up against the best of the best, but this is also the best experience possible. Now, I think here they genuinely have a chance. They've taken maps off of some top teams before in closed qualifiers, in open qualifiers. Here they have a chance to make a lower bracket run a little deeper than they have before, and I think if they can achieve that, then the grind will continue, as it absolutely has been for the last couple of years for players like Arya and Kalsushi on this team.
Yeah, we've seen the growth that this team has had, but it's not easy because the top, it's hard to take down. Yesterday when we were on the desk with Athena and Baby, they kept saying the big three constantly, and they're referring to obviously Shopify, FlyQuest, and YFP. Constantly. Yeah. Okay, come on. They were just saying it it seems like I want to say like a Vine boom was going off every time they said it. That's kind of how it felt. But I'm just saying, like, taking down the top teams is not an easy thing to do, and Teddy Tactics, they've improved. You can tell the impact that Ender has. He makes a couple jokes, but it's also really sweet to see the two siblings on the same team in different roles, but trying to make it and seeing slowly their progress that they're making. Wyatt.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you mentioned with Arya and Cal, they've literally never played on another team in recorded history. Only Teddy Tactics, grinding for years. All the other players on this team have played on maybe like one or two other, random unsigned teams, but like the experience gap in the server is pretty crazy in that regard. But that's not necessarily a huge downside. This could be a moment for Teddy Tactics to, the classic story in esports of the new people rising to the top, overtaking some of the old guard that are kind of still hovering around in the playoffs, but, maybe are starting to falter a little bit. Maybe it's time for some of these new players to rise up and take those spots.
But when it comes to newer players and newer, I don't want to say organizations, but teams, we also have MESO's Millionaires. This is a team that we've heard of in this past year. When we look at the players that are part of this roster, is some of them we're able to recognize. I mean, remember for sure Bunny B and Slendy are the ones that I think of the most. I think Slendy back in the Misfits days. I mean, that's going 2 years back. So Bala now seeing them in this team and also trying to do the same thing as Teddy Tactics is doing, being this team that kind of comes out of nowhere and has a statement and has a mission to prove everybody else that this team that might not be the most recognizable, they can make it far.
Yeah, absolutely. And they also have the famous Teddy from Teddy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
This is a team I think that surprised people last Game Changers, I think. Obviously, it's a mix of pretty random assortment of players, I would say, because last time and a few times before that as well, it was definitely more upstart players that players really hadn't thought of too much or watched at all. Kind of what we're talking about with Teddy Tactics. Now, I mean, you're kind of getting some names here. You didn't mention Animo, but she's been around for quite a while in the Game Changer scene. Definitely
all
some
the way
players
back to
here.
Complexity,
Right.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so the experience here, you're right. When you look at maybe the roster, the team names, you might be like, oh, okay, it's the same type of battle, but no, there's some definitely veterans on this team.
Yeah, some players that we've known on those bigger teams for quite some time, and now they're going into this MESO's Millionaires, Teddy Tactics as well, and trying to find the success that way. But also for anybody asking if Shopify is playing, Shopify is going to be playing on the second stream, so I'm sure our admins in the chat can link you and send you that way if you want to watch that match as well. Definitely have both of them, because this one, I feel like it can be a banger. This I feel like this match, because we're talking about these players that have faced each other a few times, it means that it's setting us up for maybe a 3-mapper at least. And talking a little bit of that, Wyatt, these two teams, they have experience playing against each other, and even if there have been some slight changes throughout the year, I mean, MESO's has the upper hand here.
They definitely have the upper hand. They're up 8-1 in maps. And you said this one has the potential to be a 3-mapper. It definitely does. And if it is, that would be the first map that Teddy Tactics will have won in a Game Changers main event. The first one they qualified for was the last one, Stage 2. It was tough. They went up against some really good teams, one of them being FlyQuest Red. So they're 0-4 there. Then yesterday they go up against Shopify. That's tough. So they're still looking for that elusive first map win, first match win. And hey, maybe this could be it. They've got a real shot here.
And if you can do that, that's a huge weight off of your shoulder, right? We talk about breaking barriers a lot when it comes to Game Changers teams. And a lot of it comes down to mental aspects, right? If you've never done something before and you've tried again, it becomes that much harder. Even if your skill is at that level or above that level. I always see people talking about like the challengers attempts from Shopify, stuff like that. Like, people don't understand how hard it is to overcome some level of attempts that you've gone through, and the pressure that comes with it. So this would be a huge weight off their shoulder, and looking forward to see if they can do it. If not, then MESO is definitely a contender to make a deep run here too.
Yeah, it's been really close again for a couple of scenarios between these two teams, but MESO has had the advantage in the last 4 times that they played. They've been able to get away with those wins, but now as we jump into the map select, we get to see that the maps that are going to be played today are Abyss, Haven, and Ascent. Do you like the maps? Do you not like the maps, Wyatt? What do you think?
I'm not surprised to see Abyss again from MESO. It's the map that they picked against YFP. Took them to overtime. Were so close to winning. Barely faltered at the end. So, not shocking to see them go to that. Bit of a home map for them.
Yeah, for me, new maps are always the ones where inexperienced teams can either thrive tremendously on or, I mean, falter completely. And I'm not aware of the win rates or anything like that for Teddy Tactics, but this is one that I'm very interested to see getting going here because it means a lot. And I'm interested in the comp. I was going to say I love the comp, but I'm interested in it.
Yeah, it's so we got to see, as Wyatt was saying, MESO Millionaires run this competition yesterday. Bunny B had some great moments. They almost close out this map, but on the side of Teddy Tactics, they're running with this Yoru. So you said what? You're interested, Bala?
I was gonna, I see a Yoru. I'm like, yes, love, hit the heart button. No, but I'm trying to think of the synergies right now, and for me, it's the Astra Yoru type of combination that can really shine. Especially with how Cosmic Divide can block all the sound, kind of like how you've seen teams use it on Pearl in the past. But other than that, there's not really combos. You have the Hunter's Fury, that sort of thing, going paired quite nicely. And you've seen actually some great success with the Sova in terms of ult lanes and stuff like that. So maybe you'll see the more Breeze-esque type of approach for the duelists. All I know is Ender be cooking, and
oh, he's cooking.
The
all right.
fire alarms might be going
see...
off for Ender real quick. It might be
what
smoke.
I was gonna say. Maybe the fire alarm is gonna go off as well. I mean, we'll find out. MESO Millionaires is for sure trying to fix the mistakes that they made yesterday with the first and second map. So let's find out if they can do so. Or Teddy Tactics can surprise us, and we're gonna send it to your casters, is Vance and Lemon.
Thanks so much, team. Yes, we are cooking, and the match is heating up. It is the lower bracket, though. This is do or die, so we'll see how this Yoru Astra stuff works out on Abyss.
Yeah, I feel that this is going to be fire, because if I look at that composition, it's very similar to what G2 kind of brought out when Abyss was actually introduced in the Americas. I think the only difference was they played a Killjoy instead of a Cypher, and we see a lot of value in a Cypher on this map now, where the more teams were playing around and learning the meta around this map, the more they realize that the Cypher might be the best pick over any other type of Sentinel that you're trying to play here on a map like Abyss. So what I like at least as well from a Yoru in his composition is that it should allow for us to get faster tempos around the map on a map that's so big. So it's going to be a little bit more fun here against teams that are going to default a lot. And as we talk about that aggression, it's 3 players from Teddy Tactics already looking for the A side control.
Big grudge match between these two teams. MESO Millionaires, the team that knocked out Teddy Tactics from 2 qualifiers.
Yeah.
And the desk already highlighted every win has gone MESO Millionaires' way. And they get to kick things off on Abyss, which was a big tone setter for them yesterday, being in the lead, but not being able to hold onto it in the end. Yeah, but Teddy was being aggressive at A initially, and they're still working their way through the spot. It took them so much time, so MESO's push this 5 versus 2, but with this Viper wall, it's surely delaying things for MESO's.
Especially now that it's down, you could actually recycle that up, and also you haven't seen Slana use any of this Sova utility to break the shock dart or the trap wires that are being set towards his B site. So Teddy Tactics are still pretty good so far, as pushing out on that triple that we talked about in the very beginning. It's now forced in the hand of MESO Millionaires to hit towards the B side, where the whole util is still there.
It took so long for MESO Millionaires to work the map that the map worked them. They got flanked and lost one already. Not too bad though, seem to be established, trying to work through the chaos. That is all the smokes on the field. Habibti with 2. And man, Arya fires right back, but there's 11 seconds. And Teddy still needs to plant and won't be able to do so. Teddy Tactics up first.
And when MESO Millionaires seemed like they were like a deer in the headlights, just looking at this Viper wall, and not knowing what they want to do behind it. Again, there was no, you're playing double initiator. Everybody's focused towards the B side. You have shock darts to actually try to break trips into the obvious spots if you think that a Cypher is playing there. But I think that's the reason why. Because they spotted the Viper, because Arya pulled up that, pulled up that wall, you probably thought that the Cypher was still playing towards the A site, so they didn't use any of that util. And when they lost full map control towards middle, well, they ran into a lot of stall, which allowed Teddy to kickstart off the series with, you know, the storyline with them still looking to find their first map win of the Game Changers main event. So hopefully it pans out.
And a sniper battle. Mesos did not care about that initial Yoru clone. Found the right target in the end, but with pistols, Mesos are still fiery. Talk about those GC sheriffs, they're doing the work, but oh my god. Dip dive and dodging across away from the snipers. Mesos established and planted up with 2 retakers with SMGs, Oranges and Raven.
God, it hurts so much. At least they do some damage there, but all the weapons that were left behind towards the A side are picked up by Meso, sort of flanked behind.
Okay, possible, no longer animal. And friends of Mesos Millionaires with a thrifty to deny the anti-eco there on the other side. And Mesos, I mean, yesterday won 3 out of the 4 pistol rounds. And I think they were used to having these open sight lines against YFPX to just rely on mechanics. And then there was a lot of waiting around due to the smokes and got completely caught off by this Yoru walking at them too.
Yeah, and Mesos also had some decent eco rounds and 30 rounds against YFP on this map as well. So to see this turnaround already back into a 1-1 scoreline, Vandals upgraded across the board, except with the exception of the weapons picked up on the previous round with the Outlaw on Bunny B. It's difficult now for Teddy. That just resets all the hype that we currently had. Be like, oh my god, there's a possibility that Y can have another day at work with the North American Game Changers. But now it's just Mesos Millionaires just evening things out and calming up the hype and trying to show here that they still have full control of the rivalry between them and Teddy Tactics so far. I think this is like, what, the 5th time that they play against each other, based on what we saw and talked about at the desk. Teddy Tactics, hopefully with the amount of times here, they realize a little bit more the play style of Mesos Millionaire.
Yeah, Teddy so far holding the perimeter. They've left mid open. No one even watching it, no one addressing it, and Raven would be the one that catches the cross, but Teddy smoked it off, so Missiles are working from behind. They've already gotten that first blood. As Venus turns their back, rounds the corner. Arya gets the initial challenge, and one by one, this defense is getting picked apart. They're on these solo duels, and Missiles just got the jump on him. Yeah, they got the jump on planting.
One enemy.
And they're going to jump off a cliff too, just to make sure that, you know, in the true G2 style as well of bringing up this composition, you also want to respect or disrespect the game, however you want to see it as a meme. And Teddy Tactics just wants to at least make sure here that Mesos Millionaires cannot pick up any extra orbs from the eco frags that they can pick up here on the pulse plant. But that said, this is where it gets dangerous here, potentially for Teddy Tactics, where things could turn around in their favor, right? When we see this Euro composition come out, and what G2 was really good at was on the site retakes that they were playing here as a core. When it comes down to allowing your opponents to plant and then go for these recon flashes to retake site on top of the Astro utility, that's what really, you know, threw their opponents for a loop, and you're hoping that this pans out. And so far, you don't need any of that util when Oranges wins a Guardian battle against Buddy B with that Outlaw.
Yeah, and to leave the sideline open, it was a wide swing too from Oranges to win that. Now you don't have your big entry fragger of Bunny B with such an impactful player for Mesos.
Yeah.
And after the initial Sonic arrow from Slandy, well, Mesos know that someone's actually watching mid this time, because that's how Mesos were able to completely surprise the defense last round by just taking advantage of these unwatched areas of the map.
For sure. And now the hit's coming towards this A site, though, and their players are kind of ready to play that fight right through the smokes.
Okay. Good fight back by Venus. There is the punish. 3 versus 2 with the plant happening now. The smokes are going to dissipate. Animal wants to get ahead of the job.
30 seconds.
Could get the 1-2. Cal Sushi was already pre-aiming, so the trade is there, leaving in a 1v2 on the post plant. Slandy has an easier job. Gonna be tough. She was an important anchor for Mesos Millionaires yesterday, probably playing the Omen different composition. Now with Teddy here to play. Arya, Sushi addressing the angles together, but swinging one by one, and, well, too many people to look at as Teddy will tie it up.
Yeah, and that's another storyline that you could bring up here where potentially Teddy Tactics could finally get a first map win in one of their matches, one of their bouts, and this time against MESO's Millionaires because of, Bunny B. We're seeing them coming into the main event, being that main duelist where Habibti in the past was playing and splitting roles as a duelist. But with them coming in and Starlight also sitting out, you're changing a lot of roles around too, and you don't have too many of those whimsical compositions coming out of MESO's Millionaires, and you're playing more into comfort picks. So with that, it gives a chance here for Teddy Tactics, who, we're talking about the desk overcooking potentially here with this composition, but to still catch their players off guard because it's not a roster that would be practiced against such a composition coming out here from Teddy Tactics. So there's still a chance here to make this a very, very challenging matchup for MESO's Millionaires.
Man, that Omen ult made Teddy Tactics pretty paranoid with just how flanky MESO's Millionaires can be, but dashing on in off the Hunter's Fury, MESO's are not going to waste any time. Raven is flashed up and Venus is under fire. MESO's Millionaires have to fight for this real estate and in this economy. It works out for them, and Teddy,
Good.
Two swinging in their face. MESO's planted up and now have to play from main, which is how defense is coming back in now with an Algernon to check things out.
And all of them are playing so far back on the A side, so this gives a chance here for Teddy Tactics to move in. But with the amount of time, if they're waiting even longer to move into the site here, the flank's going to happen on middle from Bunny B.
Just the swings back and forth. MESO's are okay wasting time, though, and now realizing how
100%.
close they are with the Owl Drone. Slandy was still able to stand tall. I thought for sure Teddy was going to be able to punish that. Now time is running out, and Teddy rushes in. It's a 1v1, and Orange just follows for MESO's getting the lead.
And that's why you're potentially pulling up these question marks into, wait, why are you just Aldroing towards main when they're pushing towards you? But really, the role of the last two players, both initiators being Slandy and Habibti in the pulse plant, was throwing flashes, delaying as much as they could to give a chance here for Bunny B to move in on the top of heaven. And despite Bunny B not getting any picks out of that, it still really threw Teddy Tactics for a loop because now they had to look at so many different angles close in against them on a pulse plant. Yes, it came down to a 1v1, but the time was of the essence for Teddy Tactics on a retake, which was going to be a guaranteed round for MESO's Millionaires because of that timer expiring off that spike. So I like the play. I like the delay that's being held. And now this time, you're seeing a little bit more aggression. Bunny B's been pretty good moving up on the staircase in the past against the YFP yesterday when they had to play against a double controller to disrespect the walls and fight for that pick right where Arya is currently standing.
Frenzy and a Bucky is all Teddy has to work with. So I see Venus being in a forward position to at least get the 1-1 with a Frenzy. It's kind of what it lets you get. With the Viper's Pit, that hasn't been sprung out early or anything from Oranges, especially only having a shotgun. Is going to wait to see where MESO's decide to commit, which for now it's a mid lane push off the camera info from Animal, hoping they could access a course to activate the neural theft, and MESO's may know they have an eco advantage going into this.
And MESO's, at least this time around, has way more utility to watch these flanks. There's a trip on the back, there's a camera in the middle, so they could definitely deathball now into the B site comfortably without having to look their backs for a bit until the pulse plant happens.
MESO's left the crack in that cage, and it allowed them to at least get vision on the backside. Animal confirms the kill and the neural theft. Two things at the back, one at the top, and Teddy on the hunt to clean up the round for MESO's, and swings again. Sheriff doing a lot of damage from Cal Sushi. The 2v4 retake's not going to be easy, especially with Venus only having a Bucky, and you're just feeding more ult orb to someone like Animal.
Yeah, that's actually a very nice round for Animal on top of that. A lot of value in the anti-eco and getting 2 kills to just try to build up the next neural theft as soon as possible. But now that was an eco round for Teddy Tactics, an opportunity to swing it around on their side because they have rifles around 4 ults that they could work with. So, yeah, that's a call here from Ender. Maybe they just want to try to take the best out of that, to get the most value out of this round so that they could at least close that gap against their opponents. So far here for how MESO's Millionaires, we're kind of like working the map. They've been quite slow, just like yesterday, where they're just defaulting a little bit more, sometimes towards the extremities, sometimes towards middle, but it's never a fast hold W hit unless it's one of those paranoias that allows Bunny B to entry into sites. But you're already seeing it right here. Bunny B's pulling out with an operator, so you could definitely tell that this won't be as quick as a round, or it shouldn't be as quick as a round for MESO's Millionaires. So for Teddy Tactics, they want to try to find that information quite early. They don't want to try to activate Venus a little bit more, because you get a get out of jail free card with peeking and TPing away, and that's basically your second initiator to figure out where MESO's Millionaires are currently positioning themselves at the beginning of these rounds.
I'm seeing half armor buys for Teddy, and they got ults to supplement the round, but they've been pretty unsuccessful at their retakes. I want to say pretty much every post plan has worked out for MESO's Millionaires except one. I think we saw one defuse out of Teddy Tactics, so got to really think about how you can get those first bloods in your favor. Is it going to be to open up those sight lines, let down your Viper walls, or is it going to create more paranoia out of MESOs? You got to watch your flank too if you're Teddy Tactics. MESOs have worked that mid map quite well. Now they've assigned Cal Sushi to watch over that. MESOs look towards B.
A little bit more aggressive on how they want to find the information towards his B site. Arya's already on top of Tetris. She has support from Oranges, who's currently watching it from the same spot here in the back. Or actually, a recon just pinged them out.
Like that Bunny B just sees the smokes and just updrafts, dashes across right on the other side of Arya for that first blood. Bunny B is a huge reason MESOs even have a close map against YFPX. Part of that victory that the Deaths were talking about. Went to overtime on Abyss. Now MESOs have their players on their comfort roles, comfort picks, and the BFD look maybe less comfortable in a 1v2, but the job is mostly done. You only have Cal Sushi left on the site with MESOs playing main. They already spotted Cal Sushi being out in the open. Now, the lane being watched by Teddy. Pressuring Cal Sushi. Okay, nice lineup there. Taps the spike, gets the attention, gets a second one. It's up to Bunny B. She peeks. Spike halfway. Damage to Bunny. And Cal Sushi knew that they had to hold it and couldn't. MESOs will get the round, but just barely.
So close, actually, on the defuse for Cal Sushi towards the end. As Bunny B, I might have missed it because I've mentioned the operator was being purchased during the timeout, but you saw the entry that Bunny B just packed towards Tetris, which was exactly something in terms of the hits that MESOs was doing quite well against YFP. When it used Teddy for the paranoia back towards Ivy, the dash comes across and you get these picks. Bunny B wasn't necessarily on the top of the scoreboard, but they were still 7-7 in terms of first blood and first death attempts. So they were really trying able to create that space for MESO's Millionaires to move towards that B side. But this time gets a 4K on top of that. Now you're starting to get activated on the side here of MESO's Millionaires.
Okay, 1-for-1. Teddy Tactics. No, the retakes haven't been great. How about just preventing them from setting up camp in the first place? And, well, you gotta scrap with the weapons that you got. Teddy Tactics completely dismantling this offense and get a thrifty.
Okay, GC Sheriff. At the first place, I was going to mention that they did try, at least Raven placed a trip to be kind of like an anti-jet dash, but kind of missed it. So Bunny B was still able to move freely on the top of the site and get that pick on to Venus just around the corner. But I feel that MESO's Millionaires was missing the extra layer on top of that, like the pop flashes towards the back, try to fight and make sure that they could clear towards the back of the site, which allowed their just Raven to walk through their own cage and get the pick on the top of the bridge, and then just make the post-plant attempt crumble, actually. Even the plant attempt crumble for MESO's Millionaires on the defensive side. So this is a great way to bring the econ back. And this is what you need. Enough econ to get an operator out, and for Venus to do that Yoru push forward, get out of jail free card. And the idea was there. The pit came out early. You're hoping to funnel some players quite early down towards that B ramp because of that, but that gate crash is soon going to disappear, and now you're at a one-and-done position for Venus.
Early Viper spit from Oranges going from B to A, but the middle of the map completely open. Cal Sushi just watching it from the sideline and droned up and kept MESOs in their place, but Bunny B with the knives out quietly fought their way through. Now having some help from animals with the trades, maybe that's what MESOs needed. Just to try to outnumber these matchups. Now with the Hunter's Fury, Raven is crunched and extinct. MESOs pinched from multiple sides and still went for 8. It's like the Viper spit shutting the door firmly on the front end. And Slaney's still bringing the spike in the middle of the Viper's pit with Teddy playing the
30
perimeter.
seconds left.
They won't be able to see much of the same thing. And Slaney's not getting much headway here. Teddy, at least, is being disruptive, trying to pave the way, but they are getting... they're dealing with decay. Dealing without a lot of health, and Oranges is going to win that
Spike
easily.
down A.
But Teddy has a TP though. There's 10
10
seconds left and
seconds
it's too late. So you won't be able to TP to get the plant. So this is going to be a round for Teddy Tactics. And I still like the pivot from MESO's Millionaires though. When they realized that the yacht was towards that B site, they had a pit down towards A and a very passive hold for Teddy Tactics towards middle. The idea of the Hunter's Fury to take control of A Heaven was huge. But then everything after that, you're trying to find util or trying to find bodies to set up at least a trade inside the pit. And Oranges did such a good job to just dance around everything to make sure that they're going to get caught, to allow here MESO's Millionaires to have the cleanest split into the A site. So as now people are focused to fight inside that pit, it's free kills for Kalsushi and the rest in the back of the A site. And Teddy Tactics end up having a pretty strong hold on that round. But the tell was still there. They know there's an operator available for in the hands of Teddy Tactics so far here for MESO's Millionaires. And they got to use a little bit more utility to try to flush Venus out.
Oranges has been a pretty pivotal anchor for Teddy Tactics, not only in that last round surviving as long as she did. Misses were hunting for that kill, but Oranges has held down B very well. Mesos have the middle of the map open to them again, but just working just on a default, seeing what first bloods Mesos can get, because they're a pretty mechanical team. They have still a paranoia to open things up. Look how forward Oranges is. Oranges are? Oranges is? Sounds like bad English. But
That's the first time I've seen that happen. It's hilarious. Wait, I think I'm grammatically correct. No, but yeah, that's a good one. But nonetheless, the pick comes through and Oranges is at the bottom and unfortunately could not get the surprise in there.
Oh,
We'll get it
Shelby's
there,
take
though.
one for the road. And crossing on the other side of the wall, Arya does damage. 1 for 1, though, evens up the numbers. Then a Hunter's Fury to try and prevent the plant.
30
Already
seconds left.
gets Mesos hesitating with the allowing
Great
Teddy
lurk.
Tactics to retake in, but Animal this lurk cuts from behind, from the shadows, shifting plans. Plan B is now at A, I guess, and Mesos are gonna plant.
Spike planted.
Come on. Venus gets it at least, but yeah, definitely. That lurk was perfect from Animal. After getting that kill, the trip that she sets up on top of that to make it even more difficult for you to rotate across, it's just easy for Teddy to just TP across to get the plant. Another huge round by Animal in terms of the util that she brings and the timing that she finds here for MESO's Millionaire.
Because Animal, these cameras in mid too are also allowing them to see, okay,
Yeah,
running
exactly.
through mid is an option.
One enemy
And they just got to be careful of how they're crossing this Viper wall, because sometimes Teddy Tactics has surprised them on that front. It's probably caused enough panic for Missiles to have to shift towards the other side. But Missiles are always going to trade, and they're bringing more numbers to the party. And Teddy Tactics still are in the shadow. They're only down 2 rounds.
But it's the last 2 remaining rounds where you could see that you're in positions of just being able to afford 1 op only on the first half for Teddy Tactics so far, and you need to string a couple more here to try to get another op to get the best value of it. And again, no trip here, it misses. Look at how it's easy for Buddy B to get that pick. Recon Dart to spot Raven to get that entry for Slandy. This might be looking good now for MESO's Millionaires on the pulse plant.
And the flash pass. Oh, Buddy B was out in the open. That was the window that Venus needed to execute on. Mesos can play time, but you know they're going to be proactive. The early swing, VP. Great pick. And now, you've dealt with the back of the site. One worry is top window. You got the knife to ping that. Oh, I don't not much information there. You might have heard the drop. Teddy Tactics. Got to work together, but they're looking at different sight lines. Mesos will finish off what they started and continue their lead.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate because you saw the idea there of having Venus on the top of Heaven through that flash. I'm pretty sure there's a recon that was thrown by Kalsushi to get a ping, but Venus can get the kill from the player that was escaping through the smoke. But what was missing was the extra players that are coming through. That, again, to talk again about G2 and how they were good on the retakes, but not only on that flash and recon for the retake, they had so many bodies on the timing to push back. If you're looking at it, there were so many players still back towards security trying to rotate across, but it didn't really have the best synergy for the flood retake. It was just like the one simple flash and peek. It could have been good for the one, but maybe couldn't be good for the rest. And the ops are still better on the attack side as Bunny B gets that pick.
Cal Sushi has been the one to watch mid, and Arya fires back. A big double kill. MESO's had a sense of safety because of that Bunny B pick and walked up for free, and Arya was close enough by to catch that at the heel. And Teddy Tactics now have the number advantage.
But the pivot's good. They chose correctly on the weak side of the map. And Orange has come up huge here and definitely does their job.
Well, they're going to stick around too. I thought maybe they'd be able to retreat. Maybe they thought they were in a one and done after all, but hey, one for one is better than nothing. I wouldn't be a good Valorant coach though by saying that. So, Bunny B's gonna get ahead of this, and had an isolated one-on-one, but Arya's been on fire in this round. 3 kills to her name. MESO on the post plant. Troops have dropped a Hunter's Fury, lining up the pins. Gets the ping on Arya, who races past. And Slandy couldn't get more done. And what a round for Teddy Tactics to turn around.
Yeah, and what a round by Arya too, with the Bulldog on the last round to get 3 kills, 2 to trade back on the mid control that was attempted by MESO's Millionaires. That's a great round salvage on the defensive side, especially with that. I mean, you're trying your best. You're trying to save your utility to try to use it for the retakes and try to use it for the mid rounding as a Silva, yet you're playing against Bunny B, who's also very good on an opping role, especially when they're picking the way that they are here with the entries on the attack side. And it came down to Arya just saving the round here for Teddy Tactics. But things changed now as Teddy Tactics take the attack side. And again, this is actually a pretty good wall for them to just storm up here towards this B site. And it seems to be the play. There's going to be a late lurk coming through from Raven, but for the rest, it's just trying to hold that W, trying to get a TP across with the gate crash and util. Take over this B site.
I must wait a moment.
Teddy Tactics, they're facing a more confident MESO's Millionaires team, not one that is just going to stand around like the first pistol round. Teddy Tactics, not going to waste a moment, just running past all the smoke, but head first into the barrel of Teddy. And at the back is Habibti, who just clean things up with 3. Oh my god, just the firing range for the girl. And that's pistols going MESO's way.
And that's just unfortunate because for that single position, even though Teddy died at the bottom of the ramp, there was just so many players probably focused on the call after Teddy got the first kill. And the call was, hey, let's try to trade that player out. Cal Sushi gets the pick, but after you come through for the TP and everybody's still staying behind, I mean, look at this. After this kill, look at how many players are still up towards that ramp, still trying to jump across, and it gives an opportunity here for Habibti to play against the Viper wall. And as everybody crosses over their own wall, is just easy pickings for Habibti on top of heaven. Missing a little bit more utility to try to push the defensive players out of their sight.
Anti-eco for MESOS with an Outlaw 5 by Habibti watching over mid. Nick smoked off, but clearly not caring about pushing past that. I mean, that's not the first time MESOS have been unperturbed by Teddy Tactics in their tactics, smoke-wise. Flash out, Habibti. Someone's shoulder's gonna get it if they try that again, but Venus not gonna peek that, especially with the pistols that they have. They did have success at B, so they're gonna try it again, but there's some obstacles, there's some hoops they gotta jump through in the name of Cypher Trips, and Animal PSMG is happy to brawl one-on-one, and Teddy Tactics just couldn't really address that as a team. They got picked apart.
Against 2 Outlaws, something difficult to do there, and you know, they're just feeling on the side of MESO's Millionaires, just knowing that they could outduel their opponents. With this wall that they currently throw here on this B side hit, like I do appreciate them trying to scale up behind that, and you know, the previous round we TP'd across it, but you need that extra flash with the recon just to make sure that you're clearing towards that back of that B side. And also when you start the round losing your losing your main smokes, it makes it so much more difficult for you to try to entry towards that site like that. But again, it's just an eco round, it's not too bad. So an opportunity to salvage things this time.
MESOS go up to 10 and starting to become a pretty scary lead, but a lot of info off that knife from Habibti. Seeing how Teddy Tactics are, at least on the left side of the map, Now they want the element of surprise, and they're gonna run right into an outlaw.
Spike down.
Only 1-for-1 is the surprising part there, so Teddy Tactics will recover the spike and might have gotten pinged out from the Sonic from Slandy. Mesos are just having all the information, it seems.
And you see that there's a TP being placed behind by Venus, though. Yeah, they're definitely going to try to sell this fake towards that A site. I thought that it was just going to be Venus just TP to go for a plant, but it's now on the responsibility of both Raven and Venus. Fortunately, Oranges just got spotted, though, by a knife and also spotted by a body.
So we see what you get at the A site. If you get a kill, you can just commit to this, because you have a window where that teleport is now expired, so A is the plan.
30 seconds left.
Teddy Tactics have
To
their
fake
spike
still.
elsewhere, so yeah, I guess if the
Exactly.
spike ain't coming, then you're not getting yours help, and Venus will have to work towards spawn. Got all of Metso's attention, but they were ready for it. Arya will still get the plant off, but Teddy have a much weaker offense because of this.
These Oranges is pushed all the way up. Only has a Guardian, though, so it has to be pristine on the shots, but unfortunately not.
Tough one. At least the paranoia doesn't make contact with Arya. The null command is gonna hurt. The knife is suppressing them even more, and Arya is alone on the site with Raven sort of smoked up. I've gotten some vision above that smoke there, and now on the left side, at least gets vision on the spike. As soon as they peek, though, they could be in trouble, and now the spike is smoked off, and Teddy Tactics are gonna hold it down, but the fuse is stuck.
Yeah, I love that, just dancing in the front. They thought that they actually killed the diffuser, but it was actually just a body in the front while the other one could still stick the diffuse. So unfortunate there. That's the unfortunate thing of playing against the diffuser inside the smoke. You don't know, you don't have the extra information when you lost Cal Sushi on top of that in your post-plant scenario. So that makes it difficult there for Teddy Tactics to win that post-plant. And I wish there was just a little bit more patience coming out from Venus, though, because yes, it looked like they didn't use a TP when they're trying to sell this fake towards this A site, but they still sold it correctly where Teddy Tactics was able to move towards this B site for a plant. But instead of waiting here to listen to the rotate to happen across, Venus just decided to push towards the spawn when eventually you know there's already going to be rotates happening from MESO's Millionaires. You probably had to wait an extra 4 or 5 seconds after the plant so you could potentially hear rotates, get the backstab. Maybe they just felt that, oh my god, I'm so far away, I can't TP across, I got to do something, I have to make some sort of play. But I think the timeout is definitely needed to talk about being a little bit more calm here under that pressure to make sure you make the right decisions.
That's a good point, and that teleport expiring really hurt Venus, and I'm sure you're calling for help when you're just 2 on the site against MESO's Millionaires, and you don't know how many defenders are there. You're like, hurry up, Venus, you're the go, we need you. And yeah, I could sense the urgency to want to be supportive and wanting to go for the plays as fast as possible, but Teddy is going to have to make the big plays, being down 5 rounds. They have a neural theft. They could just get that opening pick on someone like Animal. Work that information, but any picks they get from mid could be too long range where you're not going to be able to utilize the neural theft, and this was just being aggressive off A, so Teddy pushing up off this Viper wall, using the clone, teleporting into B. I like this. And they've smoked off the top, but this lady doesn't care. She just swings down, gets a pick.
Well, at least there's a neural theft. Yeah, gotta get info. They're close.
Oh, the Viper wall doesn't go under the bridge, so Meso's kind of under that. Get over this hill. And the diffuse, that was maybe too antsy there. The round's not done. There's still some people from Teddy Tactics, but there we go. Teddy herself being big that round, and Mesos go up to 11.
Yeah, and there you finally had that recon going towards the back of the site, so really it's to slice that left side instead of having a TP that was placed to TP up in the default spot inside the B site. I like the pathing that was used to just take control towards danger, and then eventually with that, you hopefully could get your flashes out from Venus so you could support the rest of the team to push through the wall when you're moving up towards that ramp. But Slanty, as you mentioned, there's just a lot of confidence coming out from MESO's Millionaires to just disrespect the full execution play that's coming out from Teddy Tactics, and they're again, just by winning duels, it's doesn't give you the biggest of chances right now for Teddy Tactics to hold into these pulse plans. And when you're forced to play all the way out, pulse plans for danger, when technically when you have Arya as an asset, you still play these smokes at the default spot.
I think the ping from the camera revealed that Calstucci was kind of standing still, probably trying to take the dart out, and that's when MESO struck. This is a much weaker offense now. Especially without your duelist. And the Shadows just checking out the competition, I guess, from Teddy, knowing that, well, Teddy are still over at the B site, and Teddy's gonna reestablish the smokes for B. Teddy Tactics trying to explore mid, and it's your spike carrier trying to make the space, and these trades are not exactly favoring the offense.
Yeah. I think at this point, I know that they have, you know, a set play that they want to do with this Viper Wall that always is placed at the same spot. But maybe if you just start leading it a little bit more towards the right, yeah, you won't do the same effect that you're trying to do to take control towards Troll, for example, or at the bridge. But if it gives you a chance to TP or Euro safely behind the wall so you can flash through that, then that's already a big W for Teddy Tactics to really try to enter towards that site, because they're having a hard time crossing their own line of scrimmage being utilized by their own Viper Wall.
Hunter's Fury not getting any pings yet. Plant will ensue. Someone on the high ground, and Oranges holds the corner. And wait, the person on the high ground definitely saw Oranges there, but a lot of problems to address. MESO got crossed up. Oranges front and center. Quicker trigger 2 against Slandy. Teddy Tactics are just gonna guess what? Just get defused.
Yeah, that's the thing. At least if it was messy in the first place for MESO's Millionaires on the first attempt to retake that site where Teddy just kind of got backstabbed, but at least the rest of it kind of got cleaned up. And Bunny B definitely felt that they could play the mind games and just stick that spike all the way. Again, they have full control of this first map. And also the reason why they picked this, right? This was a game that they lost, unfortunately, in overtime, where they had the lead at some point. I remember you were calling it, we had a 9-7 lead for MESO's Millionaires until they lost it in overtime, but that 9-7 lead that they had was not after winning 6 rounds in a row. So they definitely have great control and great ideas of what they want to do with this composition, and it works out.
Okay, the ult being used by Venus, and Bunny B cuts them at the heel. The flash stuns MESO's, and they're down a person. Teddy Tactics haven't won an offensive round yet. And last round was close, and you gotta check the corners, kids. Teddy Tactics in a 2v2. An important round, because MESO's could take the map and go to series point. This is the lower bracket. This is quite a lead to overcome. And it all comes down to Venus, the superstar duelist. Came in with the ult. Wasn't able to get that big of a backstab into MESO's Millionaires. Animal has their whole step, but just saw the vision and saw MESO's getting the win on Abyss.
Great way to play the 1v1 there for Animal, again, just being so pivotal as this role for Mrs. Millionaires. I don't think it's just only on her. I think the entries were still very good, but I think looking at the side of Teddy Tactics, the ideas were kind of there at the very beginning, but still missing that extra piece of util to really allow the teams to get into the side. I mean, especially after that last round, you saw Dimensional Drift, you saw Bunny B was there. Where was the flash maybe to try to push forward? So again, unfortunately, I think the fire alarm goes off just like Bala's.
Well, they have one more chance to put out the fire. Haven is coming up next. That is Teddy Tactics pick. And if you remember how Haven went yesterday, MESO's Millionaires got a lot of things to shape up, but it was against a Neon. We don't expect to see that again, but it is a series point in favor of MESO's Millionaires. Lower bracket, last life for Teddy Tactics. Will we see them again? I hope so, on the other side of this break.
Give me a map.